My GoPro? Thank you, the court. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Power, corruption, and deceit. That is the story before you here today, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Atlas relied on a promise made by Carrie Orleans and relied to his detriment, a detriment of $20 million. At his detriment, to benefit the Trump campaign. Now, we have the burden to prove all elements beyond a reasonable doubt. Let's get into those elements. The first element, that there was a promise made. The promise was made. And Richard Atlas stood up here before you, ladies and gentlemen, and he told you the promise was made. Even the defendant, Carrie Orleans, told you there was a promise made. 2, the benefit was an act of Congress. Richard Atlas told you it was an act of Congress, as Congress is the only entity that can give a contract for the rest of the wall. Element 3, the wall was of value to Richard Atlas. Richard Atlas suffered to his detriment $20 million to get the rest of the wall. Now, he doesn't make as much money as the Trump campaign, so that might be a small portion of money to the Trump campaign, but not to Richard Atlas, a hardworking individual American here running his own company, trying to promote that company. And number 4, that the promise was made during a campaign election. You heard the evidence that the Trump campaign was behind the Clinton campaign before entering in this contract. And when they entered in the contract, Trump's polls went up, and he ended up being elected. Now, that goes straight to the defendant's motive to make a contract for the wall. The motive that the defendant had a duty to get Trump elected, and she did. She got Trump elected. And a big part of that was from the wall, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw from the polls. Now, Richard Atlas just wanted to meet Carrie Orleans to help the Trump campaign. And Carrie Orleans saw this as an opportunity to lure him into a low-costing bid where it would cost him and his company. But it didn't cost the Trump campaign, did it? Trump got elected. So I'd like to ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you must ask yourself, was $20 million what Richard Atlas relied on? Or was it just that he wanted some media time, pay for some advertisements? Was $20 million what Richard Atlas had in mind? No. It was what Carrie Orleans had in mind. And that was to lure Richard Atlas and get him to build the rest of the wall for a cheap price. The price that cost him and his company. Now, the defendant's witnesses just stood up here and testified that they did not make a promise. Well, Carrie Orleans herself said that there was a promise made at the coffee shop. And then right after Carrie Orleans stood up here and told you that no promise was made, the defendant's other witness, Bobby the blogger, stood up here and told you the exact opposite. There was no promise made. That they didn't even talk about a wall. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know that there was a wall that came from this conversation. A wall that got Trump elected. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, power, corruption, and deceit. That is what's before you here today. And we asked that y'all give a just verdict. One, that a reasonable jury would give, and that is guilty.